Hey, cool cats and kittens. This is Joseph Paul Baca, the co-chair of Scholastic Arts, and I'm going to go ahead and run through on how to create a teacher account, a student account, and then kind of go over a couple of things about payment and uploading PDFs and downloading student forms, etc. So you want to go ahead and just use a regular browser. I usually just end up using Chrome because it's the easiest for everything I do with my school. And we're going to go to artandwriting.org. All right, so this is the national site, and this is where we're going to start creating our logins. All right, so the first thing is here, this is the main page, and then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and click login. So you go over here, click login, it's going to take you to this page, all right? And then you want to go down here to create new account. Now, usually what happens is at the end of each year, Scholastic gets rid of your old account from the previous year. So teachers will have to create a new account. And so you go here, create new account. And then it gives you two options, all right? Educator or student. Since we're going to learn how to do educator one, we're going to go ahead and click educator. We're just going to go ahead and fill in all the information here. Now, when you fill in the information, I would suggest that you use your work email address to avoid any confusion that may arise with using a personal one. Password. Usually with the password, I just use the same password that I have for the email that I use as the login. All right, so then we can go ahead and just fill out all this information here. All right, and then we come to this bottom part right here, and so it's going to ask you if you're a home school educator. If you're a homeschool, go ahead and click that. What will happen, it'll just take away that option of adding your school. All right, so if you're not a homeschool educator, you just go here and you find your school name. As you see, it's not selected. So you have to go here to change school, and what you have to do here is you got to first select your state. There's New Mexico. Hit next, and then it's asking you to search the school. All right. Now, say, you know, if you work in a large district, your school should already be added. So I'm going to go ahead and put my school down. I'm going to put Hayes Middle School. I'm going to hit search, and it's going to come up right here. All right. Now, if you put your school name here and it says, I can't find my school, you can go ahead and click that. You can do an advanced search, all right, and then hit next. You can put in your zip code, etc. And so I'm going to go ahead and just add next, enter school name. Again, I'm going to put in Hayes Middle School for the school that I teach at. And then it automatically adds it right here, all right? And then here it says other educational program name. These are for like if you work at a specific like after school program or something like that. You can go, if it's listed, if it's already added to the database, then you're fine. Now, what to do if you can't find your school, all right? So say you can't find your school because you may work at a state charter or you may work at a new school in which it hasn't been added. So I'm going to run through a quick thing on how to add a new school. I'm just going to kind of put like a random name there. It's like, oh, I can't find it, so I can't find my school. You can search by, go next and go, well, it's in Albuquerque. And it's going to give you all these options, and you still like, oh, I still can't find my school. Still can't find it. Then it'll automatically go to this thing where it says request a new school. All right, and so what you want to do is you want to put the full name of what of the school, and then here you want to pick the school country. It's going to be United States. Put in the mailing address of the school, select the states, select the city, put in the zip code, put in the school phone, and hit next. All right, and then what will happen is it will put in a request for Scholastics to add the school to the database, and this can take anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. So if you are planning to enter work in this year and you are at a new school, please fill the request of a new school out so you can be added right away. Once it adds you, you'll get notified that your school has been added, and therefore then you can continue making your login. All right, so once you got your school selected here, and then you just click I confirm the information submitted is true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. Understand that submitting false information can result in disqualification and other consequences. And then hit submit, and then it's going to ask you to confirm. So this is where you can like make sure that you put in the correct email address and go okay. And then okay, so once you click the OK button, it's going to take you to here, and it's just going to be like an overview of the Scholastic Art Awards. Now, the two most important things is over here on the left side. It says your deadline. It says New Mexico Art Region is 12/11/2020. So that's the last day that the database will be open for any kind of entries. Make sure that all your forms and stuff are uploaded. You want to make sure that they're postmarked by then. Make sure also that since the current state of a lot of post offices they're behind in getting out letters and stuff and other mailing packages, make sure that you give it enough time for it to arrive to us so we can make the panels as well as make sure everything is okay. So we would suggest that the easiest and less stressful way, instead of mailing them, is that you can pay all of the fees for entries. You can pay it with PayPal online, as well as you can upload signed and signed forms to the database as well, and you don't have to worry about the post office mailing your letters or not. So again, we encourage that you guys use this. It'll save you. It's a little bit more work, but it will save you a little bit more time and stress of making sure that everything is gets to where it needs to be. All right, the next one right here is the Southwest Writing Region at Large, which ends on 12/4. All right, so this is the Southwest Region at Large. Remember that in New Mexico we don't have a specific affiliate for the writing, and so the region at large are the ones who take care of that. Make sure on the form that you send it to the correct address. Again, we do not do the writing region at large. Okay, so over here on the left, we've got your dashboard. This will show you how many active students that you have signed up for it, how many works have been attached to it, and if there are any pending requests from that student. All right, and then over here, your entries. This will list all of your entries per category: art, writing, total, and then portfolios for art and writing. And then over here on right below it is your information. Now if this ever changes, you just go to your information, change what needs to be changed, etc. And then there's your log out button. Over here are your menu, and here is your students. So here, if you have any students that have been signed up for Scholastic Arts this year, they will be listed right here. All right. If you want to add students, you click on this one right here. Now these are some old students that I've had attached to my teacher address here at the Scholastics database. These are old students that I don't have them in class anymore. And then once you all right, so if you need to add any students, you can add students from here. Click down here, create a new student account, and we'll go through that in a second on how to create a student account. Here, educators. This will list any other educators at your specific school. So you can see mine says Hayes Middle School. Again, it has the deadlines for both the art and writing. If you have any other English teachers, or if you have other art teachers that are part of Scholastic Arts, they'll be listed here. Clicking here on your submissions will list all of your submissions from those specific students. And then if you have all of your specific entries in for each student, you can click here and click all your submission forms at once when we go through how to do the whole payment stuff. Okay, so that's it for making your teacher account. All right, it's a pretty straightforward process. The only hiccup that you might come into is if you're at a new school, you need to add that school to the Scholastics database. So again, if you have any questions about this, you can always consult the New Mexico Scholastic Arts website, or you can either email me or Nikki Turman, who's the other co-chair, and we can help you run this process over and over again, so you can get your teacher account set up. So it's that's pretty much it. Again, if you have any questions, you go ahead and contact us, and then we'll try and help you. All right. Next video is going to be on how to create a student account.
Hey, cool cat and kittens. This is just Baca, your co-chair for Scholastic Arts. Previous video we went over steps on how to make a teacher account for Scholastic Arts, and now we're going to review the steps on how to make a student account. There's two different ways to make a student account. You can either make it from an actual teacher account, or you can have students make their own account. It kind of depends on your style of teaching and how much control you want over how students make their what do you call it? Make their account. All right. Before the students do make their account, you have to make sure that they have an actual functioning Gmail or email. Doesn't matter which email account, as long as it's a functioning email account that they can get into. So you work for APS in Albuquerque. All students now have a functioning Gmail address attached to their G Suite account. So that would be a good use of. That would be a great use of that Gmail account, is to have them use that for their scholastics. All right, here we go. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to artandwriting.org, same place we started off last time, and we're going to go into that login right here. And then now with student emails and student accounts on Scholastics, they don't delete them every year, unlike they do teacher accounts. So if a student participated last year in Scholastics, they can reuse the same account and the same login information in which they created the previous years. All right. If they don't remember their password, they can just click on Forgot Password, I'm a student, and then they can put in the email address that they used as their login. Click I'm Not a Robot, and they can hit Reset a Password. It'll send a link to their email that's attached to their accounts, allowing them to reset their password from the previous year. All right. Now, if your student has never made a login before, you go down here to create account, and you click on I'm a student, and it'll take you to this this page right here. Now you got to make sure you fill out everything, or it won't let you hit the blue button. All right. So we're going to make a fake account here. So this is going to be John Doe. All right, and the email address is going to be New Mexico Scholastic Practice at gmail.com. All right, and then you have to confirm the email address so the computer knows that it's a functioning email address. Now, if they have an email address and they put it here, and if it's an email address that someone has already used, this will pop up, email address already in use. So they have to make sure that it's an email address that's never been used before for Scholastics. If it has been used before, my suggestion would be to have them recover their password. All right, and now they have to create another password. Now this password allows them to log into Scholastics. All right. Now with my students, since I teach middle school, usually I'll have them create a password that's kind of a generic password. They use, like, their first initial, their first name. They use their last name. They use the school name, and then the last 4 digits of their student ID. Something that's easy to remember, and something that's easily recovered in case they forget it. And so I'm just going to make a simple password. Make sure when you do a password that passwords are case sensitive. It must be at least 8 characters long and must contain at least 1 lowercase letter, 1 uppercase letter, 1 number, and 1 special character. So make sure you create a viable password. And then you have to repeat it, and then you have to put your birth date in. The birth date in is to make sure that the students are over 13. Even if they're in 7th grade, they still have to be over 13. So students who do not turn 13 before December cannot participate in Scholastic Arts. And then they have to choose if they're just going to put art in, or if they're going to put writing in, or if they're going to do both. We're going to do art, and I'm in 9th grade. And then they're going to ask you, what school do you attend? Now this is important. So for the students to attach themselves to your account, this is the first step, is to make sure, one, that you already have your account made and created, and that your school is already in the database for Scholastic Arts. And so then they can do the same thing. So they're going to choose whatever state, New Mexico, and they're going to hit next, and then they're going to go, okay, what school do I go to? And so my teacher teaches at Hayes Middle School, and they're going to search, and then make sure, like, there's like lots of schools that have the same, like, a name. If it's like a generic name, make sure it matches your address, and go, okay, this is it. And so it kind of populates it right here. All right. If you're a homeschool, they just click homeschool. And then they're going to ask you, like, how did you find out about the awards? Select all that apply. Most of the students will probably get this information from their teacher, from their educator. And then now, once all that information is completed, we can hit create account, and it's going to open up into here. And it's just a welcoming page. Welcome to Scholastic Art Awards. Thank you for creating your account. Here you can upload your work and send your entry forms and payments or fee waivers to your regional program. Your region is assigned based on location of your school. They said scholarships are available this year. Portfolio awards, New York Life Award, One Earth Award, Alliance AXO Journey Award, the Ray Bradbury Award for Science Fiction and Fantasy. These are all awards that are part of Scholastic Arts. And then hit start now. Now, when you first make that account, it's not technically complete. And so right here, this little bar here is red. And so students need to complete this next part. So they have to click here. Okay, so once you log into your student accounts, this is what it'll look like. It'll have the deadlines for the contests. Art is December 11th, 2020. It should say their name up here and the school that they're at, and then they'll have this red bar right here, and this red bar means that their profile is incomplete. And what that means is that all this information that is required, anything that has an asterisk next to it, is required. Now, with the system that they have here, it is sometimes really hard to determine what is required and what is not, because that asterisk is so small. But make sure that you fill out all the ones that do have asterisks. And then when you get done with one section, you hit save, and then it'll save it, and then you can move on to the next section. So it has their first and last name. They have to put in a mailing address so we can mail stuff to them. This is where why I, as a teacher, usually make each of the students' logins, is because it's easier for me to just look it up on our program that I use for attendance, and I have all the information on it, and I can quickly just input all the information in for that specific student. All right. So again, make sure each one of these little sections has a asterisk. It wants a phone number. That could either be the personal cell phone number of the student and or the home phone number of the residents. Preferred email. I usually try to keep the preferred email the same as the email from the account. Here on the pronouns, you want to make sure you consult your student if you're going to fill this out for them, what their pronouns are, to be respectful. Same with ethnicity. They don't have to choose something they don't want to. They can prefer not to say. But make sure that you ask and consult the student before you decide to choose one of these for them, if you decide to make the account for them. And then once that's all done, you're going to hit save. And then if everything is done correctly, you have everything here. On the parent information, there is a viable email address. That's the only thing required for the parental information. Red bar will turn to green, and then that's how you know your student profile is done. And then you hit return to dashboard, and then this is their main entrance into Scholastic Arts. All right. There's a couple of things here. If they want to, they can edit their profile. My uploads is where you add work from that student. And so if you go here, add work, it's going to go through a couple of these things. One is work title. So we're going to say this is Untitled. And then it's going to go, what is this from? And it's like, oh, this is artwork. So I'm going to put it in art. And then it's going to come here, and it's going to ask you what specific category this artwork falls under. And so they have all of these different categories to pick from: architecture, industrial design, ceramics and glass, comic art, design art, digital art, drawing and illustration, editorial cartoon. Expanded projects is new. It's they got rid of future new categories, as well as video game design, and they've created this new new area called expanded projects. Fashion, film and animation, jewelry, mixed media, painting, photography, printmaking, and sculpture. All they have to do is pick one. And they have the category description right here. They can click here, and it'll open this in a new tab to show exactly what does it mean when we say digital art, or what does it mean when we say drawing. And these are all past entries and winners from this category. So once they got that, then they're going to go to the next school and educator. Again, this is why you need to have your account made before you make your student's account. is that you'll have your school information right here, and down here it's going to have the educator. Since you are attached to the Hayes Middle School on your teacher account, your name should populate here. And this is so winners of awards, their teachers will also get recognized for their facilitation of that student. And so you click your name, or they click your name to make sure, and then it goes into the next part, which is copyright and plagiarism policy. The copyright and plagiarism policy is just a I have read the Understand the Alliance's copyright and plagiarism policy. I acknowledge that if my work violates this policy, then my work will be disqualified, and any award received will be revoked. So all work submitted to you, the awards must be original, meaning you create the work based on your own ideas. By submitting work to the awards, you agree that you created it and did not copy it from another person, business, school, or organization. Any work that infringes on anyone's intellectual property rights will be disqualified. You, not the Alliance, are responsible for getting any necessary consents or releases from people or for any places or property depicted in your work. Now, we have kicked out and revoked awards from the Mexico Scholastic Awards in previous years for copyright infringement. So please double check what your student is entering into Scholastic Arts. So all they have to do is click here and hit upload. Then it's going to come to this page right here. This is going to be your work sources. So the Scholastic Art recognizes original work. Review our copyright and plagiarism guide before submitting. If there are sources that influence your work, you must list them below. What sources did you use to create your own work? Please check all that apply. So if my work is completely from my own observations, ideas, and imagination, they can click it. If they used images or writing in the internet, they have to click it. So if they're using some kind of like a stock photo for like a reference photo, make sure they click it. Images are found in books or magazines, newspapers, or article printout publications. If they're using anything other than their own imagination, please click it. Images or writing from another person, if it's something that's copyrighted and they're using it specifically for their art piece that's in a sense original, click it. And then list all the sources in the text box below, including website URLs, publication, the name, data of publication, issue, name of reference, author, or artist. Please list it. Don't try and pass off a work as your own. We will find out. Then it's going to come here. It's height and width. So this is specific for the curator of the show. So we know how big the piece is, and we can start designing out the layout of the actual exhibition. So please put the full width and height of a piece. Now, if it's a sculpture and or ceramics piece, there's going to be a depth field right here of how wide it is, how tall it is, and how much volume it takes up. Type in materials that you use to create your work below and press enter. You can add multiple materials. Suggestions of materials will appear if you start typing. So let's say I did this with a pencil, and I also did pen. So just take the materials and tools that they've created for the work. List all the materials and tools. It's really important for the juring aspect of Scholastic Arts. The jurors really like to see, because it is very important information of how this piece was created. Don't just write, like in a drawing, don't just write pencil. Like, what else was used in it? If there's a multiple use of materials, list all the materials in it. It'll help the jurors understand the piece looking at it digitally. And then you want to tag your work. Now, you don't have to tag your work if you don't want to, but these are just like hashtags. So let's say bugs, insects, things like that. So make sure that you just tag your work with hashtags if you want to. It is not required. And then it goes here and it says drop your images. At this point, if they don't have an image of their work yet, that's totally fine. It's totally okay if they don't. If they do have images, then they can go ahead and click, okay, I'm going to upload files, and then wherever you save them on your desktop or whatever computer that you have them saved at, you can just click and hit open, and then it'll say specifically title, untitled. It'll have the name of the file, file size, resolution, upload, time and day, and then it'll say what kind of quality is. Now this is very important, especially for the juring part, is if image is not doesn't have high resolution, is not taken really well, it'll tell you, the server will tell you that it's poor, and you don't want to have this as red. You want to have it as green, so that when the jurors see it during the paneling, that they can see majority of the detail in that photo. So teachers, please take time to get those pieces of work photoed correctly. My suggestion is to use an actual digital camera. It can be one of those point and shoot. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. You don't need a digital SLR or anything like that. Just something that can capture image at a high resolution. Sometimes even your phone, if it's small enough, you have a 8x10 piece of drawing or 11x14. Most phones now can take a pretty decent photo of artwork. Once they're done, they can just go to next, featured scholarships, and then these are just like those awards that they introduced at the beginning of the. Now it's up for the students and for the teacher to decide which award they want to apply for that specific piece. New York Life Award, it asks, does your work address personal experience with grief? If it does, then click it, apply for it. Civic Expression Award, does your work address social or political issue? If it does, apply for it. One Earth Award, does your work address climate change? If it does, click and apply for it. It says, do you participate in the NAACP's AXO program? So there's lots of different AXO programs for the Afro Academic, Cultural, Technological, and Scientific Olympics. Any kind of after-school program that is associated with AXO, if they're doing that, enter it into it. And then once we're done, you hit review, and then it says, how do you plan to submit your submission? I plan to print the form, have it signed, and upload it, or I plan to print the form, have it signed, and mail it. Try and pick the one that you're going to do, and then follow through with it. Since the post office right now is going through a transitional period of it being overwhelmed, our suggestion from the Scholastic co-chairs is that it's easier for you guys to upload all your forms that are signed to the database, and you won't have to worry about mailing anything or having anything postmarked by a certain date. That once it's uploaded, then you're done. Then it gives you a review of the untitled digital artwork right here, and then it gives you the entire review of all information specific to New Mexico's Scholastic Art Awards: the name, the student's email address, phone number, what grade they're in, their address, their parent guardian, what school they're at, what region they're at, and the affiliate name, which is the New Mexico Art Education Association. Over here is the more specific work title. And then he says, does everything look correct? If you need to change anything, your student information, then go to your profile. So if their name is incorrect here, etc., their phone number is incorrect. Now, a lot of things happen when students make their own profile, is they'll put lowercase letters for their beginning and last name. Since everything's attached to the database, when we pull the information to make the name tags for the winners, it's pulling directly from their student account. So make sure that their proper nouns are capitalized so that when we don't have to go in and fix every single one, because it can be kind of tedious and it can be a lot of students who don't do it. All right, and then you got two things over here. Or three things. You got print, PDF download, and upload submission form. So if you want, you can print. It opens up this. It'll automatically open up what your printer attached to your computer, print it out, and send it off. Again, it has the student information here. It has the instructions. Submit this form to NMEA 920 Calle Coronado Southeast, Albuquerque, New Mexico 87123. Put attention Scholastics on it. All right. Please address it to the correct place. This comes directly to us, so we can physically handle all the materials and get them scanned into the computer. Then right here is a submission fee. Submission fees that go up, $7 for individual fees, and I believe it is now $25 for portfolios. And then what's very important about this is the barcode. Each barcode is specifically and unique to that specific work of art. As the co-chair, we need this barcode. So I can either physically scan it in from the piece of paper that's been sent to us, and or I can scan it through the online system if it's uploaded through a PDF. All right, and then down here is the student signature and parent signature. Notice how they've gotten rid of the educator signature this year. So all you need to have is the student signature and parent signature, and then you can send it off to us. Again, either upload it to the system and or mail it to us to this address right here. And then once we're done, you hit save. and it'll say here, right, my uploads. It'll also give in red, so my work status here is uploaded. That means my image is uploaded. Submission form status, not uploaded. Payment status, not paid. And submission status, not submitted. So please check your work upload, submission form, and payment statuses for more information. It'll tell you the last updates. So again, submission forms, you either please print your submission form and you must upload a signed copy to submit your work. Not paid, please indicate how you will pay the submission fee. And not submitted, your submission title is incomplete. So this is the entire submission for this piece. Now there's been a lot of confusion, especially last year with the waiver form. The waiver form can be done online, and you don't even have to send it to us, as long as the waiver form is completed online. All right, so where to do the submission form? So you're going to go return to here, and then you want to click on this bottom one, see my submission forms and payment options, and click it. Okay, so where to find the fee waiver form in the student's login. Now, you as a teacher do not have access to the waiver form. It's only in the student account. So if you click here, and if you scroll all the way down, it's kind of like small. So if there's this little thing right here. Is the submission fee a barrier to participation? So if so, you click this box. And it says, to waive the fee, or a parent must sign a fee waiver form, submissions without payment or the fee waiver form will be considered incomplete and may be disqualified. Please confirm your status below. So you hit the green button, confirm, and over here it has to complete your fee waiver submission, please following the steps below. You print or download it to your computer and print from there. So here is the fee waiver form. It'll have the information here of the student email address, school, and parent information that they entered into the original login. Just make sure it's printed out. They check this box. You put the signature of the parent on top and the dates, and then you just print the name, and that's it. And then once this is done, you come back over here and you click Upload Signed Fee Waiver Form. You click it, and you choose File, and it'll upload the form. And then once you're done with that, you hit Go to Payments. And if you have any specific fees associated with your entries, they will go away. And what that happens is right here it says fee waived. If you don't see this fee waived right here, then they did it incorrectly, because it'll say $7 for a single entry right there. That's how you do the fee waiver form online. Again, you still have to upload a signed fee waiver form to the student's account. If you go back up to the dashboard, if your fee is waived, it'll say fee waived right here instead of the $7 for the submission fee. So I hope that helps with your uploading and participating into the Scholastic Arts Awards this year. If you guys have any questions, you guys can always email us off the website at New Mexico Scholastic Art Awards at wordpress.com, and then we will answer as quickly as possible. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed the video.